Dogface here. Today we're going to do a review of the BK Precision 8540 DC electronic load. So I bought this for a project that I've got, and I've just been using lights. In earlier videos I'd been using some tail lights out of a truck, and they kind of sort of did the job. They're not terribly precise, and they get hot, and it was a bit of a bother to get them into the circuit and out of the circuit. So I started looking around, and there's just not a lot on YouTube about reviews on electronic loads. There's some $50 ones that are coming out of China, and I don't know, believing in, buy once, cry once, I thought, well, can I do a better job? Can I get a programmable electronic load? And I started looking around, and this guy here, he's $450. Holy Hannah, that's a lot of money for me. This is just a hobby. So it's like, wow, that's just too much money. So I was like almost ready to pull the trigger on that $50 one on Amazon, and then it's like, I just can't. I'm gonna regret it. I know, because I watched the reviews and I just knew it wasn't going to be what I wanted. So I started looking around some more, and I found this one on eBay for $200 delivered to my door, so less than half the price of a new one. And I pulled the trigger on it, and so far I'm pretty happy with it, even to the point of when I got it, I thought, oh, it's a little scratched, but no, there we are, look. It's like brand new. So anyway, just first looks at it. It's got some nice clunking switches. It's got lugs. There's holes in the middle there, so you can put the wire through there. It's got the banana plugs, or you can put the horseshoe things over them. Different buttons. This has got a little bit of a detent. This is the adjustment knob. As you turn it to the side, it's got vent holes on the back. It will work on 110 or 220, 230, 220 to 240. You do have to change the fuse. So basically it should work anywhere in the world. The other side looks like that. Just like the other side. So I've been playing with it a bit. I'm going to reset up and we'll do some testing, and I'll just go through a quick operations manual on it. I'm just going to start with the power supply. Right now it's set to do 20 volts and provide half an amp of power. So I'm going to switch it on, so it's now outputting that power, and obviously because this is turned off, there's no amperage being drawn, so it shows 0. So as we go forward, you can see how these two things compare. This has proven to be relatively accurate, or as accurate as I can tell with my equipment as far as voltage and amperage being drawn. So we're going to call it close enough is good enough. So getting on to the load, turn it on. It's just a rocker switch, and comes up pretty quickly. Obviously it's got the inputs here. It's got a little, these will screw out, and it's got a little hole, so if you want to put your screw wire through it, you can do that, or if you want to put a spade connector on it, you can do that. And of course you've got the banana plugs working around. We've got the on and off, and so right now it's in the off mode, so it's not doing any draw on the power supply right now. Also, if you press shift, it will simulate a short. Next we have view. If we push the view button, it will show you what it's currently set up, and right now it's set up to draw nothing and nothing. And then if you do shift setup, it allows you to configure some internal settings. Nothing terribly interesting as far as I was concerned. Turn the beep on and off, minor stuff like that. These buttons here, A and B, control this cursor. So right now it's in constant current mode. If I want to change how much current is going to be drawn, you can see I turn the knob and it just counts up, but that could get really tiresome if you're trying to draw a full amp. So as you move this across, you can turn the knob, and you can see it just counts by single digits wherever it happens to be, and then you can see, and there's the max it'll draw is at 3 amps right now because I haven't turned it on to the higher mount. So the most in this mode here you can do is 3 amps. We'll get into that in just a sec. It's also got save and recall. So once I set up a setting, say I want to draw 1 amp, I can save that and recall it at a later time. So it'd be shift and recall. So moving around then, you've got the mode, you've got constant current, constant voltage, and constant resistance, which are all 3 things that are really nice to have if you're doing any sort of work with this. Also on this mode you've got 3 amps and 30 amps. So if I'm in constant current mode, let's see, I'm going to do a recall. I'm going to recall A. So that's set to draw 1/4 of an amp. And if I change it to the 30 amp mode and change it to 30 amps. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you got to be out of the recall mode, and then so now it will draw up to 30 amps if I am so inclined to put that much power into it. I'll do a video later, or later in the video I'll show you what this thing looks like when we put the beans to her. So that's the quick walkthrough of this, and I'm going to take her out of that mode. So now we're back to the 3 amp draw. It's set to draw 1/4 of an amp in constant current. So when we turn her on, you can see over here on this it is drawing 1/4 of an amp from the power supply. Once it's in the recall mode, which is really nice, you can jump to the different settings which you've pre-recorded in here, and it's got 4 that are readily available, and then it's got basically 160 presets, which I can't imagine you'd ever need, but it's also programmable. So that might be something that could be useful for somebody, where it will program different steps. I haven't gotten into that because I don't really have a use for that right now. Maybe some project further down the road I will do that. But now I'm in recall mode. If I go to C, it's set to constant resistance, and it's set to 80 ohms, and if my math is correct, that should also draw 1/4 of an ohm at 20 volts. So 80 ohms, 1/4 of an amp. Did I say ohms? Amp, that's what I meant. And so that's basically the quick walkthrough. We've got, oh, I just turned it off. Okay, now we've got it in constant voltage mode. So now it's going to draw just enough to take 12 volts. So remember, this was set to 20 volts over here, but now it's only going to take 12 volts. So very flexible. You can get any kind of draw that you need out of this, and it's really nice. I like especially this one here. I didn't really think about it, but I've got this power resistor that I've been using, or trying to use. I'm going to focus. No, probably not, too close. Anyway, this is pretty cool, but it's, you can vary the resistance a bit, but it's hard, and then by the time you get it adjusted like that to get a lower resistance, then these turnings right here get hot. So this is nice in that it's got a fan on it and keeps it cool while we're in the constant resistance mode. That's it for the quick walkthrough. Now we'll tear it apart. I give a guess it weighs 2, maybe 3 pounds. It's not terribly heavy. It's held together with 4 screws on the outside of the case on this side, total of 8.
Okay, we're inside of her, and you can see, I don't know, interesting, right? There's the shunt. This is a little bit warm from our previous thing. The heat sink, a little bit warm. Lots of signatures and checks, like everything is cable tied in place. Looks to be pretty good shape. I mean, it is used and all. Don't see anything. That might be a little weird. It looks like there's a little crack in the solder right there, but it could be nothing. It seems to work fine. There's witness marks on those, so it's never been tampered with on the inside. Got a little silicone rubber in there to hold things in place so they don't come discombobulated. I don't know. Let's see. Can't see the brand. Everybody wants to know capacitors. Can't read it. Doesn't mean anything. That's more a comment on my eyesight than the capacitor. There's, let's see, right there they've erased the chip, so you can't see. I guess that's so the folks from China can't just reverse hack it. So that's it on the inside. Let's crank this guy up, get her hot again, and see if we can see what the internal temperatures get on this.
Okay, so this has been running now for about 5 minutes at full output, 148 watts going into it, and just going to take my heat scanner gun here and see what I can see. I'm going to point it here at the circuit board, and I'm just scanning around looking for any hot chips on the front, and we're getting about 26 degrees C on average, which is 78 degrees Fahrenheit, and as comparison, the desktop here is 71 degrees Fahrenheit or 21 degrees C. If we come around, there's our power MOSFET, and that's at 45 degrees C as best I can get it, or 121 degrees Fahrenheit. This heatsink is too hot to touch. Well, I can touch it, but it gets instantly uncomfortable. And I can't measure it because of the way these measure things work. I mean, it says it's 106, 110 degrees Fahrenheit. I know it's a good deal hotter than that. That's 40 degrees C. But if I come back here and take a shot at the output air, depends on how you angle it. It's not exactly the most precise thing, but we're at 135 degrees, 36. It's still climbing, which you would sort of expect. So let's just call it 143 because it's still going up, 61 degrees C. So the air in the back is noticeably warm, but it's not uncomfortable. I could leave my hand here for quite some time. There's only one fan. It sucks through here, a little computer style fan here, blowing through this big heat sink. So there you go. That's how hot the thing gets while it's running. So in conclusion, what do I think? I think I like it. It certainly was a bit of money if you buy it new, $450 on Amazon. That would be hard for me to spend. But $200 on eBay used, it's a bit of a crapshoot. I think I won this one. It seems to work just fine, and it looks all but new, especially since I was able to peel that plastic protector off the front. That's my review. Would I recommend it? $450? Well, that's a question with your wallet. $200? Absolutely. So if you like this, please like and subscribe, comment below, and until the next video, y'all have a nice day.